Okay, I'm going to show you Scratch. This is a Scratch program. Let's go ahead and see it run. This is an animation. When I click the green flag, that says to start, and there's code in here that says what happens. Each one of the objects that's moving here is called a sprite in Scratch, and the background is an image. We can put code on each of the sprites to tell them what to do. You could pause the video and think about what does the code look like for each of these sprites. What do you think the code will look like for the cat? And then what about for the rain? And we also see a cloud and a rainbow. Each one of those will have a piece of code associated with them, and you can imagine what it would look like. For the cat, it starts over here and then walks this way. When it gets hit by the rain, it turns a little bit with raindrops. The cloud appears at a certain point in time and then disappears. The rain appears up here and then comes down. The rainbow is not present and then becomes present. Let's take a look at what the code looks like. Okay, this is the Scratch editor. We'll see how to get into the Scratch editor in just a minute. Once we're already here, there are a lot of things we can click on. Right here, we can see the program run. The title of my project is here. There are some options up here. And down here and over here is where the code is. If we click on the background, stage backdrop, there's an option here to put scripts, code for the background. Nothing really happens with the background, so I'm not doing anything with that. If we click on backdrops, we can have an editor here to change what the background looks like. Right now I just have it so that it looks like this. We could change it to be something else. That is our background, and then here are my sprites. When you start Scratch with a new project, it'll normally just have one sprite. Over here we have something we can click on for costumes, and the default cat costume looks like this. That's just what the cat looks like. There's another costume there. That is the one that I put in some blue streaks for rain. And the first one is called Costume 1, and the second one is called Costume 3. Some things, if you right-click them, there are some options. So I can create a duplicate of this, or do other things. This is the sun. Looks like that. These other ones. That's the costume, which you can change what it looks like. To make it do something, we have to look at the script. This is the script for the cat. There's two pieces of code here. Let's look at this one first. You can read this and probably have a guess at what happens. So you could pause the video here and try to think about what this script here does. Alright, so what it says is when the flag is clicked, this part here is going to be repeated. So the forever means this part inside repeats forever. If the cat is touching Sprite 2, and Sprite 2 is the name of this raindrops. If it's touching Sprite 2, then the cat switches to Costume 3. Otherwise, it switches to Costume 1. Costume 3 was the one with the rain, and Costume 1 was the one without the rain. So this right here is the code that makes it so the cat gets wet when the rain hits it. There's another piece of code here for the cat. You could pause the video right now and try to think, what does this code do? Okay, we have a green flag which says when the green flag runs, click when green flag is clicked, this will run. Both of these actually will run at the same time. First thing that happens is the position of the cat is set for X is -200 and Y is 0. Over here you can see right now the cat is at position 107 and Y. You can drag the cat around and see how that changes. -200 and 0 is over here. And the way the position is the X position is side to side, and it's 0 in the middle. And you can see over here the X and Y position of the mouse is displayed. And in the middle of the screen, X gets to be 0 eventually, and Y gets to be 0 if it's in the middle, top to bottom. Okay, so X is side to side with positive to the right, negative to the left. Y is up and down with positive to the top, negative to the bottom. -200 and 0 is over here. Repeat 10 times. If the cat is on the edge, bounce. So that's if it happened to go too far. Otherwise, it moves 30 steps, which is 30 pixels, and then wait for a half second. So 10 times, and if I click on this, it actually does that part, just that part only. That's the part that makes the cat move. Let's see, what else happened here? The cloud. Here's the code for the cloud. You can pause the video to see if you can understand it. So the code for the cloud, when the flag is clicked, the cloud is hidden. Wait for 1 second, then show the cloud. Wait for 3 seconds, then hide the cloud again. Code for the rainbow. When the green flag is clicked, hide. Wait for 5 seconds, and then show again. And the code for the sprite. Again, you could pause the video and look at the code to see if you can understand it. But first, it's hidden. The position is 0, 200, that's up here at the top of the screen. 0, 200 would be up here. Wait 1 second, show itself, and then 7 times it changes Y by -30, and negative goes down, so it goes down 30, down 30, down 30, down 30, 7 times with a 5-second wait. When it's done moving down 7 times, hide. That's the code for the sprite. I could change, if I change these numbers, change this -30 to something else, that'll change how much the rain goes down. If I change this, it'll go down faster or slower. And if I change the 7, it'll repeat a different number of times. I could change those numbers, in particular on the times and the number of repetitions on each of these, to make things happen at the same time or at different times. The way I have it right now, the cloud is hidden for 1 second, and the rain is hidden for 1 second. They both appear at the same time, because I have 1 second here, and I have 1 second here. And then we have the cloud being present for 3 seconds, and the rain comes down 7 times a half second for 3.5 seconds. That's about the same. I could change this to a 6. Okay, probably that makes some sense. Now, how would you know to do this? That would take practice and trying things out. If you want to try some things out, you can change some of these numbers. You can drag things around. Now, if I have this code over here, it's not connected to the green flag anymore. So if I run my program, The cat doesn't move anymore. The other things are still happening. But this code here is disconnected, so I can drag it back over here, and it would be connected again. If I wanted to bring something new in, there are a lot of options over here for what can happen. Let's say I want the cat to draw. I can tell the cat that when it's clicked, pen down. Each sprite can have its own pen. Now the cat is drawing. There are lots of options about what can be done. If I want to get rid of that pen down, I can drag it over here and it'll disappear. Let's look at some of the options of what can be done. This part here is about motion. It's all about moving the sprite that you're looking at. Right now I'm looking at the cat. So I can move the cat by 10 steps in whichever direction it's pointing. I can tell it to turn. If I tell it to turn, that's a right turn there. So there the cat turned, went forward, turn, went forward, and it did eventually bounce off the edge. Here, down here is the set X and Y positions. Over here, this changes what the sprite looks like. That's where we can have it change costumes. The change costume was down there, and the show and the hide. And there are some other things that can happen. We used some things under control. We have an if, else. That's here under control. You drag it in, put it wherever you want, and then you can put things inside of the if and inside of the else, and you need whatever the thing is you're testing. The thing I'm testing there came out of the sensing. Anything that has this kind of diamond shape can be dragged into the if test. The one I used here was touching. If the mouse is touching, I said sprite 2, but there's other options as well. Any of the sprites, the mouse pointer, or the edge. And there's some other options for different things that can be dragged in there. The if was in the control. We also have the repeat inside of the control. Repeat some number of times, and then we can drag more and more things inside of here. We use the forever on this part of the script right here that repeats something forever. There are some options for sound to make the sprite make noise. Some options for drawing. You can use sprites to draw. You can keep track of variables, which may not mean anything to you. And if we needed to do any arithmetic or math, we could do that. And some other options. Now, if you go straight to the Scratch website, you'll see a lot of projects that you can take a look at. Let's go ahead and log me out. Now, if you're not logged in, you'll still be able to look at any of these projects if you click on them. You can see a lot of them will be animations, some of them will be games that are interactive. If you want to make your own, you can create. You don't even have to have an account. So you can try things out anytime. And that would bring you into the editor with a new project. So just like this, but with a new project. So here it is, and there's even some tutorials that you can follow to get started. This is an empty project, and if you wanted to save it, you would need to create an account. But you can get a start just by trying it out. Now let's go ahead and sign in, and if you don't have an account, then you would create one. Once you have an account, your work can be saved. There's this thing here that says that it was saved. You can give it a title. When you go to the Scratch website, if you have an account that you sign into, you will see something like this. There's an icon here that I can click on to see my projects. And if you created a project without giving it a name, it'll probably have something like Untitled 4. The project I was working on, I gave it a name. And I have it so that it's shared so other people can see it. I can send the link. There's a basic description. Okay, this was your basic introduction to Scratch and an example with a particular program. Let's go ahead and fix this guy first. We'll just leave him alone for now. Okay, there's a Scratch program, and if you want to, there will be a link to this. If you happen to have this link and you're not signed in, so if you're not signed in, you can still check this out. Over here, it's taking a minute to come up, but over here we can run the animation, and then here we can go and click to look at the code. And we're right about at 20 minutes, which is always a good time to stop. So we'll say that's it. Go ahead to Scratch and try some out yourself.